My crew's on deck for the last round. One more battle before the sun goes down.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Future Tech Talk, episode 43, I think. Who would have thought we'd make it this far? It is a gloomy day down here at the ballpark. It's been a gloomy week, but there was some big AI news. A new music generator dropped, and I think today's episode is going to be talking all about UDIO. I'm guessing it's audio without the A. They like the idea of YouTube, so UDIO. And now I think you have the next big hit in music generation. Honestly, I think one of the biggest reasons is that it has its own website that you can work on. Maybe Suno does as well, but as far as I know, Suno, its main thing is Discord, and Discord is really a turnoff for a lot of people. I don't know if it's Discord specifically, but the fact that there's one place that hosts all of these AIs sort of makes each AI a little less special. I'm not saying I agree with that, but I think that's the perception of new people who learn about it. Like, oh, it's on Discord. Well, why doesn't it have its own thing? That might sound silly, but I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. Anyways, UDIO has its own website service, and it's free. I mean, you get like 600 generations a month, and you get 2 generations per input. I think. I haven't been really paying close attention because it's just so much fun to use, but you get a lot of room to experiment. So I'm going to talk about it for a bit. Timestamps will be in the description because we're going to get to some live listening examples later on, and I think then you'll understand why I'm so excited about this particular artificial intelligence. Now, maybe off the bat, I can just say the success rate. It's not good. It's not great. It's not 80%. It's not 50%. I don't even think it's 25%. It's a little higher than Suno, but I'd put it at like 10 or 15%. And Suno's around there for the record. But I think what makes UDIO stand out is that its home runs are way bigger than anything you could imagine. Like when the jackpot hits, you win big. Literally goosebump, chills, emotional feelings for generated music. 85% of the time, you're just like, oh, this is awful. Like comically bad. But somehow the successes are so raw. Maybe raw is not the right word, but they're so impactful. It really does work. And it's worth generating more and more and more. Even if you're going to lose most of them, because you are searching for gold and there is gold to be found. I think probably one of the most important things about the whole system is that it's backed by, like, I guess he's famous enough, but it's backed by a musical artist. Like Will.I.Am had a part in, obviously not the ones and zeros of designing the service, but maybe the presentation and the packaging of UDIO. Like Will.I.Am has been on board. If you don't know who Will.I.Am is, he's a part of the Black Eyed Peas, and they've had enough success to where something he's interested in should mean something. It means a lot more than anything I say. And I think it's like the first big leap for the music industry as a whole. Like Will.I.Am being involved in this tells me that I'm right and that you can't beat AI. You have to join it. There's no winning. We've already lost. So how do you minimize the loss? How do you get on the AI's team? Like how do you incorporate AI to keep you afloat in the flood? How do you use it to your advantage? Because you cannot beat it. If there are artists who are against AI, you're simply going to lose to the artists who are with it. I think that's like a pretty clear picture of the battlefield. Artist versus artist has been going on forever. But now the possibility of some artists having the most powerful tool ever invented, you can't beat them. Like you have to fight fire with fire. If any artist is going to use AI, all artists are going to need to. Now that's a bit of a hyperbole. Obviously you can do whatever you want. You don't need to use AI. But in the grand scheme of competition and capitalism, economy, trying to increase your value, there's no way you'd be able to keep up with an artist who uses AI willingly and thoughtfully. And I'll just say this about my little vision here. Like I'm pretty sure 99% of artists are going to hate this thing off the start. 99.9% of artists won't want anything to do with AI. Hey, you better not train your generator on my music. In fact, the generator doesn't even let you input artist names. It sort of just replaces them with descriptive words. And I think that's a nice touch. They don't want to get involved with that. But what's interesting is that little message when it says like, hey, we're not going to use an artist's name without their permission. Like that's without their permission. So theoretically, they will get artist permission and then you'll be able to generate and prompt for their type of music. Like that's a interesting little window into the future. But what I'm really trying to say is that all it's going to take is for one artist to embrace AI, to crack the code on how they can make money off of it and how they can make money with it, for every other artist to be like, oh, I see, like that's how it's done. I'll do that too. Like every musician will be on the same page, down with AI, you're the worst, you're cheaters, you're liars, you're thieves. But again, all it takes is one. Now, it doesn't have to be the biggest, it doesn't have to be Justin Bieber, it doesn't have to be Tiesto. It's just going to take someone with like a mildly strong following, a social media presence, to embrace AI and say, hey, everybody, all my fans, I want you to start generating my music. Use my name, create songs with my voice, show me the best you can do. Then maybe that goes on for 72 hours over a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then that artist is going to keep retweeting and picking the best songs. And the thing is that like the songs that are generated are going to be good. That's the main thing. It's not going to be crap. It's going to be like, oh, wow. Like, can we hear more of that? And I don't know if this artist is going to turn these generated songs into an album for sale, or if they're going to generate so many songs that they'll host their own festival and then you'll go to see your favorite artist. Sure, they will play their own songs, but in the downtime will be all brand new music from your favorite artist, and it's going to be the best music you've ever heard. And it's going to be like generated on the fly. And maybe the only time you can ever hear that music is being there live. Or maybe they also sell an album of all the snippets after. All I'm saying is that it's going to take one artist to do that. It's going to take one artist to make money off of generated music for every other artist like Drake or Jay-Z or Justin Bieber. Well, no, okay, maybe not the most famous. Maybe they don't really need it. But every other artist is going to be like, oh, that's how it's done. Like, oh, okay. Look how many tickets that festival sold. Look how many albums they're selling online. And they didn't have to do any of the work. They're going to get like 100% of the profit. They didn't have to pay a recording studio. They didn't have to pay a producer. And maybe that's a downside. But then maybe as a human, they'll just cut the producers in on it. Something like that. All it's going to take is for one artist in the next 2 years to go full head on, dive into the AI swimming pool, for everyone else to say like, oh, okay, I see how you did that. And then it's going to be everywhere, man. You can't beat this thing. And I have a friend I was talking to yesterday who's kind of convinced that AI will never be, he knows it'll get better, but he didn't seem like he was convinced that AI was ever going to be as good as a human. And I just fundamentally disagreed, but it was kind of hard to put it into words. I think it comes down to this. The reason we won't be able to compete and the reason why a musician won't be able to compete, it's because the AI will mimic us so well that it'll just blend in, and then the average person won't be able to tell the difference. And when you can't tell the difference, that's when the game's over. Like, that's when the enemy is invisible by way of mimic, perfect camouflage, you can't beat that. And that's where AI is heading. And that's why I think a professional artist could not win. I don't know if it's going to take Taylor Swift to be like, hey, I'm going to make one album a year. I don't know if she's on pace for doing that in her career. Probably not. Probably takes her longer. I'm going to do one album every 2 years. I'm going to tour every year and a half. But in the meantime, you send me all of your Taylor Swift generated songs, and then she'll curate them into an album, and she'll release them. Maybe she'll even cap it at, say, like, hey, 30 seconds only, because that's what UDIO generates right now. You can extend the song, but maybe it's just like, hey, 30-second clips, and then the best ones, maybe the artist could then riff off of. That's honestly the thoughts I got the most when I was generating the music. You hear the first 10 seconds of these tunes, and you're like, oh, I can hear the rest of the song. And if I had any music efficiency of my own, like if I had a MIDI board next to me and a synthesizer, like I could start playing the chorus and the rest of the songs. The main problem with UDIO is that right now, at least, you can't specify like shorter specific things you want in the song. Like it'll generate you a verse, but then if you wanted a little bit of a melody before the next verse, you can't exactly specify that. You can really only choose the section after, which will bring in a new verse. You can change it to instrumental, but then if that doesn't always work, you'll still get lyrics. And like the interface just isn't quite there yet for mass, high quality production. But that's okay. That's just today. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, this was black magic. And now it's here in another 2 years. Like, why wouldn't you be able to specifically look at a timeline and like chop up individual parts of the song and regenerate them? I think I saw an article saying that UDIO eventually has plans to generate in stems, which are like the individual drums, guitars, all the different parts of a song, and then have that as downloadable, like have it really sectioned off. Oh, that'd be so much fun. It'd be so much fun. Just generate drum roll after drum roll, and you'll get some real masterpieces. The other thing about UDIO is that I'm just assuming it's using GPT, but maybe with some real custom instructions, because the quality of the lyrics are pretty high. They're good. They are great in some respect, but it's the lyrics combined with the performance. Somehow they've taught the AI to perform these syllables and to stress the right vowels in such a way that you're like, oh, like it's talent. That's what you're seeing from the AI. It sees how humans did it, and it knows what we did. And I think that's what's so interesting about human creativity and human talent, is that we know how to show it off. We show it off all the time for hundreds of years, but we don't know how we're doing it. Even to this day, you ask the best rapper or the best guitarist, and it sort of just comes from them. They don't really know what they're doing. They just can do it. And then to everyone else, it looks like magic, because that person doesn't even know what they're doing, but they're still able to do it. And then when you try it yourself, you're like, oh, I don't know how to do that. That's a very human experience, because it turns out when it comes to AI, we're not that special. The AI can look at us, it can look at our output, and it can see what we're doing and how we did it. It doesn't get it right all of the time. 85% of the time, it's wrong, it's awful. But 10 to 15% of the time, it nails it. It's so good. It can truly see what makes a good song, and it's able to replicate it in the multiverse sense. Like, it takes our reality and it's able to go like up and down from it and side to side. Not extending, but other interpretations of the same talent. It's able to do that, and it does it so fast. UDIO is really fast. Suno's pretty fast as well. For some reason, generating 30 seconds of a song, when the servers aren't crushed, it doesn't take that much time. It's like, honestly, like 30 seconds, maybe a minute. When the servers are overloaded, it takes 10, 20 minutes sometimes. But that's just a bottleneck that can be solved eventually. It's like, honestly, I feel like I'm spoiled by Midjourney for having such a high success rate, 75 to 80% success, that you might expect that from other AIs, but in my experience, the success rate doesn't need to be that high. I think a lot of people are okay with 10 to 15. Well, I don't know if a lot of people are okay with that, because you have to sort through a lot of crap. But I am personally okay with a lower success rate as long as the gold is pure gold. Now, do you want to hear some of this music? I'm going to play it, but then I'll like insert it into the video so it sounds nice and crisp for you, right? I have a handful of different songs that I want to show you. The first ones will be from me, but then there's one specific one that was made by someone else, I think, maybe from the staff of UDIO, that you need to hear if you haven't. It's beautiful. But why don't we start with this? And honestly, I think you only need to listen to the first 6 seconds. The way that this... Okay, this is interesting. How do you speak about the AI? Is it, if you hear a woman's voice, do you refer to it as a she? Like, what I'm trying to say is that the first 6 seconds of the song, the way the first words are sung, it's amazing. It is so mind-blowing and eye-opening, but I don't really know how to speak about it. It's like the way the AI performs these first 6 seconds. If I was a real music producer, I would send this to every artist I worked with and be like, yo, come record this right now. Like, this is the melody. And for the record, I've been playing a lot with, because you can write a song about anything, okay? What do you want to write a song about? Or what do you want to tell the AI to generate a song about? I've been messing around with the idea of our girlfriends being mad that we're playing video games online with our friends. Because I have 2 friends whose girlfriends get mad when they play online video games with me. So it's just like a little slice of life, if you will. And if you're wondering what these lyrics are or what these songs are about, like that's what they're about. But like, listen to this.
My crew's on deck for the last round. One more battle before the sun goes down. You wouldn't see me once the game's away. To the shores I sail away. My heart belongs to the online seas. I hear the lobby and the players please.
Just makes me want to smile. Okay, and not every song is about the girlfriends getting mad. Sometimes it's just about playing one last game online and then you gotta get off. So it's like really emotional. They're so funny, they're so well done. And that first few seconds of that song, like, it just makes me smile. Like, it is so well performed. The cadence. I'm just gonna play it one more time. Just this first part.
My crew's on deck for the last round.
Like, that's all I need to hear the rest of the song. It's so inspiring. And this is the example I was trying to say when, like, if you extended this song, ideally you would get a lot more melody involved. You would start to bring in drums and everything, and the song would evolve, but you can't really do that with UDIO at the moment. As soon as you extend the song, it just writes like another verse, but that's not really what would come next, if you know what I mean. You have the opportunity to choose an intro and an outro, but that still doesn't really do what, I mean, at least what I'd be hoping for. And maybe what I just talked about is like the key to the success of this bot. They must have trained the AI on different parts of the song, being the intro, the outro, a chorus, and a verse, so that the bot didn't take songs as a whole. It really broke them down into the different sections, which allowed it to like learn at a much more efficient pace. And I'm just spitballing here, but I assume that's how it was done, so that it doesn't get confused on why a good song has an intro but doesn't have the bridge. Like I'm sure they cut it into smaller parts so that the bot didn't get confused. And you could train it on 100 different intros of the best intros, and it can be like, oh, this is what all the best intros do. It starts with that little bit of melody. Okay, here's another interesting one. The whole idea of getting off after this last match. Hey, this is my last one, guys. I gotta go to bed. I really tried to make some pirate sea shanties with this. Like, that was my main goal. It was surprisingly difficult. One of them turned out well. We'll listen to that in a bit. But pirate sea shanties was my goal. And I didn't specify this at all, but this song actually came out in French. And like, when you hear it, you're like, oh, that's not English. But it comes with lyrics. So I copy and pasted the lyrics and I translated them. And they do seem to be pretty accurate, which is super interesting. It's not complete gibberish. It can really write songs in different languages. But I also liked the beat of this, so I'll just give it a listen.
Sous l'horizon où l'aube s'élance. Mais ce navire dans mon écran, mais ce navire dans mon écran.
Now, I can't quite put my finger on it, but that French song was the most similar sounding to like a real life song that I experienced. And I do wonder, like, how many times you'd have to generate until you came across something that already existed in a way that somebody would point out and be like, whoa, did you just steal my song? I don't know what that song sounded like, but it sounded familiar enough. Now, you can't quite copyright melodies because they've all been written. So I don't know how this is going to play out in the future. Okay, now this next song, again, it's about getting off after some multiplayer matches online, but what I need to point out is that UDIO doesn't always do a great job. Again, low success rate, but even when it succeeds, it can sometimes still spit gibberish. Like, you'll look at the lyrics and it's English, but the way it's performed, it's muffled. It doesn't make any sense. It's not English words. I don't quite know why that happens, but it's hilarious. Sometimes it's a little off-putting, but like this one in particular, the gibberish is so melodic. It's so interesting that I just have to share it with you.
Why, son, did more I'm a digital house. What you need to say, remember bearer, cause you and one or two that don't go to bed at the dying flat thing, you'd be laughing to Italy. And like I'm a guckle up, you're the dicker up, but me. So the phone down and don't gonna be another dying flat thing, you'd be laughing to Italy.
Like, it's got so much soul, but it didn't say anything. Like, that is hilarious. That's someone riffing after a couple of beers and a cigarette. Like, gold in its own way. Gold, Jerry, gold. What's the deal with Ovaltine? Could I make a song about what's the deal with Ovaltine? Maybe I'll save that for next week. Okay. I have 2 more songs to show you. This next one, it's long. It's like 3 minutes and 1 second. 3 minutes and 17 seconds. I extended. This is a pirate sea shanty, a combination of our girlfriends getting mad for playing online games, and this is my last game, guys. I gotta get off. I'm gonna play the whole thing. Skip ahead if you don't want to hear it, but like, this is a proof of concept that an AI can... maybe I don't have the words to describe it. Here's the song, One More Game, Love.
So raise up the sails, we've treasures to claim, but the sirens ashore, they're calling our name.
With every level the cheers they did flow, but beyond the screen there's a wail of woe. The night grows old as they wait by the bay.
When will our sailors come home from the fray?
Oh, I'll sail away after this match is through. Yeah, I'll sail away after this quest or two. Yeah, I'll sail away. The galleon's hold is full, but the crew's spirits are rough. A tap on me, compass for land, we've not sighted enough. Stop your swaying, why are we swaying this rough?
So good.
But just one more game, lads, before we retire. For the siren's call of loot is a strong desire. Yeah, I'll sail away. After this round we'll cruise. By the light of the monitor's glow we'll choose.
Avast, the hour's late, the night's
caught the sun. Our digital bounty calls for one more run. Avast! Now hark the distant land folk fret and stew. With angry words they call, your time is due. But we're still sailing in virtual seas so blue, promising just one more quest, love, then I'm with you. Our mateys heed the call of hearts so true. Our lasses frown as our ship's crew grew. Our dairy game seen us too so long. Raise the anchor, close those games, it's high. They sing a shanty of love's lament, their plea. Oh, pirates dear, come back to the land from sea. Their patience thins, they like sails in a storm's hush. Our gaming glory fades neath their wistful crush. Our mateys heed the Coracalagina. Jag wonder things are roaring in day. For at by old Dan every lish the sail. Behind the screen there loves the wind that wails. Oh, love's treasure's worth more than high scores won. So we chart a course to where our hearts belong.
Thank you. Okay. A couple parts of that song. Why don't we start with the end? The gibberish sort of comes in near the end. Like, a few of those lines are not in English, but I think that's so funny. And if I was in college 10 years ago, I would have got all of my friends to learn the lyrics to this, even the gibberish, and we'd be randomly singing normal music and then complete nonsense. I think it would work. I think people are going to have a lot of fun with this. But then also in that first verse where the pace randomly jolts ahead, and he I don't know how to describe it. Let me just play it again.
I'll sail away.
This part.
The galleon's hold is full, but the crew's spirits are rough. A tap on me, compass for land, we've not sighted enough. Stop your swaying. Why are we swaying this rough?
Okay, the way that there's a guitar strum in between those spastic phrases, and then how the melody just comes right back in after, I'm like, that is so human. Like, if you heard people singing this around a campfire, you'd be like, how'd you come up with that? Nowadays, it's just like, oh, an AI created it. And that might turn you off, but, you know, if you're going to try and see the best in it, might as well have fun with it. And we're going to end this. Wait, what? No. Okay. It's not working right now, so I can't play it live for you. But I'm going to end this with a song called Carolina. And it might be the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. A bit of an exaggeration, but wow, is it just proof of concept, proof of reality? It's not even a concept anymore. Thank you for joining me this week. I've had a lot of fun sharing this with you. Please let me know what you think of this. Enjoy the song. Hope you're doing well. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Carolina, 5'5", bright blue hair and big brown eyes, sleep beneath the neon signs of some old 2 Street town tonight. We don't need to talk things through, or you can cry the whole way too. Whatever feels alright to you, 'cause you got baggage, I got room. Babies singing Carolina, oh, it's a long and winding road. Ooh, but if you're ever lonely, you don't have to ride alone. Saying Carolina, child, you've been walking now for miles. Put your head down on my shoulder, Carolina, let me drive you for a while. I've been
trouble, I seen more. I burned the bridge, I closed the door. Yeah, I've been rich and I've been poor, so we don't have to go too fast. Let me make this highway last. Don't need time, we don't need cash. Just let them city lights go past.